Welcome everyone to our class today. And today we are talking about daily routines, something that you talk about every day, but will use different people. So you can practice different vocabulary, different sentence structure, and you'll learn a lot of time references that indicate the present simple. So here we have Leah. She's a stay-at-home mom. So everyone, I want you to practice using she as your subject. So just give me one thing that you think Leah does as part of her daily routine because she's a stay at home mom. And why am I asking you to do this? Well, because in the present simple with she, you need to add S or ES to the verb. Okay. So put one example in the comments to start this off. And here's one. How about this? On weekdays. This is a time reference for the present simple because it indicates a routine on weekdays. So weekdays, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in North America and many other places as well. Weekdays. Now, there's an S added because it means every weekday. So if you use every, you would not add an S. You would say every weekday, every weekday. So notice this is written as I, it's written as Leah. So that's why I want you to practice with a she because you know what you need to do. You need to add that S. So on weekdays, I get the kids ready for school by 7:30. Okay, so what does this mean? To get the kids ready for school. So this is a general term that includes many different activities. So when I get ready for work, I have a shower, I brush my teeth, I dry my hair, I put on makeup, I get dressed, I put on jewelry, I eat breakfast. So those are all the things I do to get ready for work. So to get the kids, so to get someone or something ready for something else, she would do things like make sure they wake up on time, help them get showered if they're young, dress them if they're young, get their clothes ready, get their books ready, feed them, all those things as well by 7:30. So that's the time the kids need to be ready at 7:30. Okay? So when you use by, we use that for deadlines. So it's possible the action can be done before. How about this? She does laundry weekly. Exactly. Very nicely done. She does, you have your S. She does laundry weekly. Very nice. Okay. Let's keep going. How about this one? I wake up at 5:30 a.m. to prepare breakfast and pack their lunches. So their lunches represents the kids' lunches. So the lunches belong to the kids, right? So I wake up at 5:30 a.m. and now to prepare. So you can specify the activity. I wake up at 5 a.m. to meditate for 30 hours before work. I wake up at 6:30 a.m. to take my dog for a walk, whatever it might be. Now, you don't need to because maybe there isn't a specific thing you wake up to do. Okay, woke is the past, but we're in the present simple. You could say, yesterday I woke up at 6 instead of 5:30 because my kids didn't have to go to school, for example. But we're in the present simple. I wake up. I wake up. Okay, great job. I usually wake up at 8 a.m. to go to work. Exactly. So that's the reason why you wake up. Very nicely done. Awesome. Glad you have it. Let's keep going. How about this? I tidy up the house once things quiet down. Okay. Once things quiet down, things just represents the various activities. So once things quiet down, well, maybe once Leah gets the kids to school, once she does her other chores or tasks, once her husband leaves, and then she has some time where she doesn't have a lot of tasks or activities. That would be once things quiet down, become less busy. So you might be thinking, once things quiet down at work, I'll go on vacation. Or once things quiet down at work, I'll enroll in Jennifer's English class, for example. So once things quiet down, when they become less busy, I tidy up the house. So tidy up, this could be a replacement for clean up as well in this context. Let's keep going. I'm responsible for. So notice here, your present simple is in the to be. I am responsible for. This is more stating a fact, because it's not a routine action in the sense of every Monday I schedule appointments, or every day, every morning, every afternoon. It's simply the verb to be in the present simple, because you're stating a fact. I'm responsible for. To be responsible for. Now, what do you notice about this sentence structure? Hopefully you notice the verb that follows for is in the ing, because for is a preposition. So your next verb needs to be in the ing. I'm responsible for scheduling appointments and paying the household bills. Now, paying is also in the ing, because it's I'm responsible for scheduling appointments. I'm responsible for paying the household bills. So, and you need the same grammar. Now, even though Leah's a stay-at-home mom, she still has responsibilities. So you can use this sentence structure, even though it's more associated with the business world. You can absolutely use it in your everyday life as well. You don't just need to use it in a business context. So I'm responsible for. How about this? On Sundays. So again, notice we have on, and then you have your day of the week, and you add the S. When you add the S, it means every Sunday. Every Sunday. On Sundays, I do meal planning and prep. What does the word prep stand for? This is the short form of the word preparation. Preparation. So meal planning, this is a very common activity that native speakers will talk about. A lot of people do this every single week, and Sunday is a very common day to do it. So meal planning. Notice this is being used as a noun because the verb is do, and you do meal planning. Do is the co-location you need. It's the verb that goes with the noun phrase. You do meal planning. You could also say on Sunday, I plan my meals. So plan would be the verb in that case. I plan my meals. But when you do meal planning, it means that you think about what you're going to eat, what your family is going to eat for the next week. So you can decide what groceries you need, buy the groceries, start cutting up things. That would be the prep. The prep would be when you start cutting up things. Maybe you cook a big batch of rice because you know you're going to have rice with 3 meals, for example. So that's what planning and prep means. Prep is preparation. Yeah, exactly. Preparing. So preparation and prep, because prep is a noun, preparing is a verb. So prep means in this sentence, because the sentence structure requires a noun, it would be preparation. But if you said in another sentence, I prep my meals every Sunday, well, in that sentence, it requires a verb. So I prepare my meals every Sunday. Can you help me prep? Can you help me prepare? So it can mean prepare or preparation depending on the sentence structure. Great question. On Sundays, I do study planning for the week. So you plan your studies. So in that case, you can do it. It's not the most common phrase, I'll be honest. It's very common to do meal planning, but I don't know what study planning really is. You might, if you mean in the sense that you decide what days of the week you're going to study, what activities you're going to do on those days a week, then yes, you can do that. I don't want to be responsible for office expenditures. Yes, absolutely. Great job. Okay. And indeed, do, may, give, take, have, they are confusing verbs. You have to memorize what verbs go with what phrases. So in this case, you do meal planning. Let's keep going. After dinner, I always help the kids with their homework. Okay, so the kids are doing their homework. You use the verb do. The kids are doing their homework, and then Leah, the mom, helps them. So she answers their question, she reviews it, she helps them when they're stuck. After dinner, I always help the kids with their homework. So what about you? What would you say? After dinner, I always. So always sounds like every day. Always is every day. Well, every day after dinner. So every evening you could say, because after dinner, instead of day, you can use evening. In the mornings, I plan my day. After planning, I fix lunch. Very nicely said. I love it. Let's keep going. After I get the kids to bed. Notice, I get the kids to bed. This is a phrase, a very natural expression. If you are a parent, you should absolutely use this, a parent with young kids, that is. To get the kids to bed is when you, depending on how old they are, you take them to their bedroom, you change their clothes into their pajamas, you brush their teeth, you help them do that, or you supervise, and then that you put them in bed, you put the blankets over them, you read them a story. All of that would represent get the kids to bed. So do all the preparations that children need before they sleep, before they go to bed. Okay, after I get the kids to bed, I go for a walk or bike ride to relax. So notice I go for a walk. So walk is being used as a noun. It's a something. It's very common to use this sentence structure with specific activities. I go for a walk, I go for a run, I go for a bike ride. But certain activities you wouldn't say. You wouldn't say I go for a yoga, for example. So we only use this with certain activities. So for now, you can use it with walk, run, jog, bike ride. Those are very common. I go for a. To relax, to relax. So that's the reason why, to relax. After I do the dishes, I drink a cup of coffee. Very nicely said. I love that. Are you enjoying this lesson, learning about different routines? And we have a lot more different routines. If you're enjoying it, put yes, 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 but yes, yes, yes in the comments below. And of course, make sure you like this lesson, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson. And I also have this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can find the link in the description, or you can just go to my website and you will see where you enter your name and email, and this will be emailed to you. And also, if you want to keep learning with me, if you want to get access to my premium training and become my personal student, you can do that in the Finally Fluent Academy. You can find the link in the description. Okay, let's keep going. How about Oscar? Oscar is a project manager. So what do you think his daily routine would include? Can you think of one thing that Oscar, as a project manager, may do as part of his daily routine? Well, let's see. Share one in the comments. And remember, he, present simple, you need to add that S or ES. So, as a rule, have you heard this expression to start the present simple? You probably already know always, on, Sundays, every day, every week, on weekends. Those are some pretty basic time expressions. So I'm also going to share some more advanced time expressions with you. And here's one: as a rule. So if something is a rule, it means you follow it. You follow it as a routine. So if I say as a rule, it sounds like it's a routine. As a rule, I review my calendar first thing in the morning. Now, calendar is the same as schedule, because in your calendar, it tells you what appointments you have, what tasks are due at specific times. So I review my calendar. You could also say I review my schedule first thing in the morning. Now, first thing in the morning, there isn't a specific time here. It's not at 8 a.m., at 9 a.m., but it just means early in the morning. And early in Oscar's morning, because of course, Oscar and you could wake up at different times of the day. So first thing in the morning just depends on when you wake up. So as a rule, agenda is not used for your day-to-day. Agenda is used for a conference, a class, or a meeting to tell you what you will do within a specific planned activity. But for your day, your daily schedule, we don't use agenda. We use calendar or schedule. Okay, so as a rule, you could even do something simple. As a rule, I don't drink coffee until after I go to the gym. Maybe something like that. As a rule, I review my books. Exactly. Very nice. Oscar has to organize the meetings every day and check the financial balance. Very nice. Thinking of some business expressions. Very nice. I love it. Okay. I lead a status update with my team at 9 each and every Monday. So here's another one that you may not be familiar with. Each and every. So notice how I'm pronouncing that and, each and every, because and is going to become more unstressed. Each and every Monday. It simply means every Monday, but it sounds more emphasized. It sounds more dramatic. Oscar really wants you to know that this activity happens every Monday without fail. So it just emphasizes it. So if you really want to emphasize something, you can say each and every instead of just each or instead of just every. Now, I lead a status update. This is important because Oscar is the leader. He's the one who is organizing it. He's the one who's presenting. Like right now, I'm leading this class. You're not leading it because I'm the one presenting, right? So it's important if Oscar just says, I attend a status update, well, then that's different. Or I participate in a status update, that has a different meaning as well. How about this? As a rule, Oscar makes the project plan on Sundays. Absolutely. Very nicely done. As a rule, I read a book last thing I do in the day. Very nice. Okay. I lead a team of people. Maybe just a typo there. A team. I lead a team of people. As a rule, I check my car air pressure. Well, that's smart. Very nice. As a rule, I review my schedule on week, first thing every Monday. I think you mean I review my schedule for the week. Or you could say I review my weekly schedule first thing every Monday. I love first thing every Monday. That sounds awesome. As a rule, I review my weekly schedule first thing every Monday. Very nice. Yes, exactly. Every single Monday. And again, you're emphasizing it. Very good. How about this? I follow up with potential leads in the afternoon. Okay, I follow up with. So here we have a phrasal verb. The phrasal verb is to follow up. We have our verb follow and the preposition up. But notice there's a third word. So a second preposition, a third word, which is with. Follow up with. You use the additional preposition when you specify the noun. The noun here, leads, potential leads in the afternoon. A lead is someone that you have talked to and seems interested in your product, your service, working with you, working for you. That would be a lead. It's not yet a customer, but has the potential to be a customer. Okay, that's a lead. And in the afternoon, I follow up with potential leads in the afternoon. And if you follow up, it means you had a conversation with this person maybe yesterday or last week, and you're having another conversation. You're continuing your previous conversation. Okay, so that's what it means to follow up. It's a very common phrasal verb, so I recommend you practice it in the comments. Let's keep going. I set aside 1 hour each day to follow up with potential leads. So here, we're using the same phrasal verb, follow up with. I wanted you to see it in another sentence structure because it's very common. Follow up with potential leads. Now, I set aside, that's a phrasal verb as well. You set aside time. And when you set aside time, it means that you reserve that time. You allocate that time for a specific purpose. So if someone says to you, oh, do you want to have a coffee today at 3 p.m.? You look in your calendar, but you already reserved that time. So you say, no, I can't. I'm busy, because you've already set aside that 1 hour, let's say at 3 p.m. And yes, a lead is a potential client or customer, is someone who is interested but has not signed a contract, has not paid you, but they're interested. So they have the potential. Set aside means reserve. I set aside 1 hour each day to learn a new skill. Well, isn't that an amazing thing to do? I'm so glad to hear that. Let's keep going. I go to the gym at lunch as often as possible. Okay, so here, as often as possible. So we have as, adverb, as. Okay, as, adverb, as often as possible. So this isn't specific. And you can use this to suggest that, well, I don't go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I go Monday, if possible, Tuesday, if possible, Wednesday, if possible. But it could change. So this week, it was only possible for me to go to the gym twice. Maybe next week, 4 times. The following week, once, and then twice, and then twice, and then 3 times. So it changes as often as possible. You could also say as often as I can. That's possible as well. I go to the gym as often as I can. I clean my house as often as I can. I prep my meals as often as I can, whatever it is. I review and correct comments as much as I can. So you don't have to use often. You could change it to as much as I can, as frequently as I can, as frequently as possible. There are other word choices. It doesn't mean as soon as possible. I would say to you, I'll respond to your email as soon as possible. It means in the immediate future. That's not what is being said here. So yes, it uses as word as, but it's not the same meaning. Let's go back. I set aside 15 minutes each working day to follow up on ongoing operations at work. Employer is a person. So you wouldn't say in my employer. You would just say at work, at work. Okay, so a few corrections, but overall, good job. Yeah, here's a great example. I learn English as much as I can, as much as I can. Very nicely done. I check your email as often as possible. Well done. So maybe the student doesn't check my email every day, but the student checks my email 3 times per week, but then other weeks 5 times, 1 time. Very nicely done. Yes, exactly. The frequency differs. It depends. It depends on Oscar's schedule. How about this? Before I leave, I send my team the priorities for the next day. Before I leave, I send my team the priorities for the next day. So it sounds like this is an email. So you can send an email, you can send a text message, you can send a Teams message, you can send a Jira message, Slack message, whatever form of communication you use at your workplace, okay? And then in that message, there's the list of priorities. Before I leave, I send my team the priorities for the next day. Now, notice it's for the next day. It's not for tomorrow, because tomorrow for me is March 4th. Maybe you're in the future and it's already March 4th for you right now. And of course, if you're watching the replay, it could be July 7th. But tomorrow is a specific day, but the next day changes. So the next day is just tomorrow, but based on whatever day it currently is, whether that's March 4th, July 7th, August 23rd, the next day is tomorrow of that specific day. So that's why it's just saying the next day and not tomorrow. Ooh, I like this. I don't exercise as often as I used to. As often as I used to. So this means as often as I did in the past. So it means I exercised more in the past compared to now. Very nice sentence structure. I love that. Although you should exercise more. Let's keep going. And how about Omar? Omar is retired. What does that mean? What does it mean if Omar is retired? And the sentence structure, notice it's in the ED form. This is not the past simple of the verb. This is the adjective form. Because it means that Omar is retired. That would be the sentence structure. Omar is retired. Omar is retired. It means that Omar has permanently left the working world. Permanently. He has no plans to work in the future. Okay? That's what it means. Omar is retired. Exactly. He doesn't work, but he doesn't work because he made the conscious decision. Someone else, Leah, doesn't work in the working world because she's a stay-at-home mom. A student doesn't work because they're a student. So yes, this is correct, but just the reason why is different. Okay. You don't get retired, you just retire. So I want to retire. So retire is a verb. So you can say, I retired when I was 73. Okay. That's when I stopped working permanently for the rest of my life. I retired when I was 73. I am retired. So the verb to be describes the current state, and then retired is an adjective. But in this case, I want to retire. That's just the verb, to retire. And yes, Omar is his name. Exactly. Omar has stopped working permanently. Exactly. Nice. I'm retired and I have time to watch your lessons. Woohoo. Thank you, Dan. All right. So I never set an alarm, but I usually wake up around 5. So Omar, remember, he's retired and he says, I never set an alarm. I never set an alarm. So when you set an alarm, it means the night before you turn on your alarm, and then at 5:30, 6:30, 6:15, it goes beep, 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 and wakes you up. Omar does not do that because he's retired. But I usually wake up around 5. So this means Omar wakes up naturally. His body just naturally wakes up. Maybe he hears the birds, maybe the sun wakes him up, whatever the reason. But I usually, so this means not always, but most of the time, usually. But I usually wake up around 5. So around 5, that could be 4:47, 5:23, around 5. How about this? I hardly plan my day. So notice we had a negative. I never set an alarm. So what about you? What's something you never do? Now here, what's something you hardly do? Share that in the comments as well. I hardly plan my day. So if I plan my day the night before, I say exactly what I'm going to do, very specifically, from the time I wake up, basically until the time I go to bed. Omar does not do that. I hardly plan my day. So using hardly means a little bit, but not much. So maybe there are some activities that are scheduled or planned, but not many. I hardly plan my day. I just play things by ear. So this is an idiom, to play something. In this case, things represents the activities he does during the day. I just play things by ear. So you might say, let's play the weekend by ear. Let's play the day by ear. Let's play our vacation by ear. You're not going to plan it. You're just going to decide in the moment. You're going to decide spontaneously what you want to do, where you want to go, what you want to eat. I hardly wake up without the alarm. That describes me as well. Very nice. I wake up early in the morning. You need the morning. Otherwise, you could just say, I wake up early without any alarm. But if you want in, you need in the morning. That's excellent. I always need an alarm. If my alarm did not go off, I would not be here with you right now. I love this. My alarm is my cat. Very nice. Maybe for you, it's my dog or my neighbor's dog barking, my kids, whatever it might be. I never skip my breakfast. Very nicely said. I hardly make a shopping list. Very nicely said. I hardly think before speaking. That could get you in trouble. I seldom have a to-do list. So remember, we're talking about Omar. I always have a to-do list, a list of things that I must complete today or by a specific time. Okay, Omar, I seldom. Seldom. So seldom, rarely, they're the same. It means a small amount of time, but not the majority of the time. So maybe 2 activities per day or twice per week, he has a list of things he needs to do. So a to-do list is just a list of things you need to do. To do. To. Pronounce that as to do. To-do list. Now notice it's a noun. A list. So you need a. A list, a to-do list. A to-do list. So what about you? Do you always, sometimes, usually, rarely, never, seldom have a to-do list? How about this? I spend most afternoons on the golf course. This is, in North America, the stereotype of a retired person, especially a man, is on they're just on the golf course, because that's what retired people do in North America. They play golf. That's a stereotype, okay? Which means, of course, that isn't true with all retired people, but that's just the image I have in my mind of a retired man in North America, okay? I spend most afternoons on the golf course. Now, on the golf course, you could just replace this with I spend most afternoons playing golf. And I included this example because notice I spend time. Time represents most afternoons. And then you have your verb in ing because you spend time doing something. So I spend 2 hours each and every day reviewing my English lessons. Okay? So you spend time doing something. Oh no, I hardly follow my to-do list. Oh no. I seldom wash my face every day. Okay. I hardly do homework without my laptop. Excellent example. I like that. Very nicely done. I spend most afternoons taking a nap. Very nice. I spend most of my weekends practicing guitar. I love it. Well done. Let's keep going. These days, I travel once in a blue moon. So what does this mean? These days. These days means the current time. Because maybe, I can't remember this man's name, Omar. Maybe, right? Yeah. Omar. Maybe Omar is comparing it to last year. Maybe last year, his life was different. He was working and his schedule was very different. Okay. So these days, it means currently, but it's an indicator for the present simple because you're still talking about a routine. These days, I travel once in a blue moon. Yes. Yeah. So right now, Omar rarely travels. So it sounds like maybe in the past, his situation was different. But now that he's retired or now that he's older, maybe he's unable or just not interested. He'd rather stay home and practice his golf swing. He's not interested in traveling. These days, I rarely travel. So just make sure it's subject, add verb of frequency, verb. So I rarely travel. Yeah. What was his name again? Omar. Exactly. So the idiom is once in a blue moon. Once in a blue moon. That means rarely. Yeah. Exactly. It suggests you travel only occasionally these days. Very nicely done, everyone. All right, let's move on to Kate. We're at opposite ends of the spectrum. We had Omar, who was retired. Now we have Kate, who's a student. Omar has finished his working career. Kate has not even begun her working career. Kate, our student. I check the course portal for announcements every morning. Okay, so you check something. So you open the course portal and you see what's new. So I check the course portal for announcements. So instead of for announcements, you could have some other reason why. I check the course portal to know my schedule every morning because maybe the schedule is just posted every morning and it changes. Who knows? I check the course portal to know the login details. Maybe the login details change every day. So there could be different reasons why. So for something, to do something. If you used a verb, you would use the verb to do or the infinitive, to do something. How about this? I dedicate 2 hours to reviewing my notes on Saturdays. Ooh, good for you, Kate. Reviewing your notes on Saturdays on the weekend. That's definitely commitment and dedication. So here, I love this sentence structure. I dedicate time. So 2 hours, 20 minutes, every Saturday. It could be a whole day, my weekend. So it can be a short period of time. It can be a long period of time. You can use minutes, hours, days, or a time reference. I dedicate 2 hours to reviewing, okay, to doing something. So notice we have the verb in ing because to is a preposition. It's not an infinitive marker. I dedicate 2 hours to reviewing my notes on Saturdays. It means every Saturday I review my notes for 2 hours. But when you say I dedicate, it sounds like this is a rule. It's non-negotiable. So she set aside that time. You could also use set aside, that phrasal verb we used before. Oh no, I complete my homework once in a blue moon. Oh no. Every Saturday, I set aside 2 hours to review my notes. Exactly. And yes, that is correct. Well done. Every Saturday, I set aside 2 hours and then the infinitive to review my notes. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. And you even have correct punctuation and formatting because Saturday is a day of the week and days of the week are capitalized. And you capitalize Saturday, you have a period at the end. Perfect. Yes, dedicate equals devote. So you could use devote as well. I devote 2 hours to reviewing my notes on Saturdays. Well done. Yeah, you could use carve out. Carve out would be set aside, just a little more figurative. Very nice. Well done. I dedicate 1 hour to walking in the park. How nice is that? Spend time in nature, relax, a form of meditation, mindfulness. Well done. Ooh, I dedicate time to watch your live and to review my grammar and improve my English. I'm so glad. Thank you. This semester, all my courses are online, so I don't need a bus pass. Okay. All my courses are online. This is using the present simple, but there's not a routine action. It's more stating a fact. My courses are online. I live in Canada. Okay, so you're stating a fact. This semester, all my courses, plural, they are your verb to be plural online. I don't need a bus pass. So this isn't a routine. A routine would be every day I take the bus to school. But that's not a routine. It's just a statement of fact. I don't need a bus pass. I don't drink coffee. I don't drink tea. I don't have sugar for breakfast, whatever it is. So it's more a statement of fact. So I don't need a bus pass. A bus pass is a piece of paper that allows you to take the bus frequently, and it's usually for a set price and it's cheaper than just paying as you go. I rarely go to the university library, as everything I need is online. So here we're combining a statement of fact. Everything I need is online. That's a statement of fact, and it uses the present simple. But the first part of the sentence is a routine. I rarely go to the university library. So in terms of her daily routine or her weekly, monthly routine, go to the library is a very small part, and it's not something that happens often. I rarely go to the university library, as everything I need is online. So this is a great sentence structure. And instead of rarely, you could absolutely say, I always go to the university library, as everything I need is there, as it's cheaper, as that's where my study group meets, as I love leaving the house, as my dorm is really small and noisy. So you could change this entirely, but keep the sentence structure. How about this? I usually attend the guest speaker events, especially the ones with free food. Spoken like a true student, always trying to get something for free or for a discount. And that describes me when I was a student as well. So I usually attend the guest speaker events. So a guest speaker event, maybe your university is hosting a presentation on some topic, and a speaker is coming from a different school or a company, a workplace to present. Okay. Now, there are some of these events that have free food. So there's just some food out on a table. Those are the ones that Kate goes to. Okay, now it's time for you. So we've already practiced, but here are some keywords. Give me one sentence and use one that you don't usually use. Use one of the adverbs that you rarely use, because don't practice a sentence structure that you already are comfortable with, right? And remember, the sentence structure is subject, adverb. What you see on the screen, these are adverbs of frequency. Adverb, verb, subject, adverb, verb. I always, we usually, she frequently, he often, we sometimes, they rarely. So that's your sentence structure. And then your verb. As a student, I used to attend the university library and hit the books. You wouldn't say attend a lot. You would say, I used to attend the library a lot. Or you could say, I used to frequently attend, or used to usually attend. You could also use an adverb of frequency. But if you use a lot, you need to change the placement. I never eat pizza. I usually cook at home. I hardly do my homework at nights after taking a nap in afternoons. I always go to work. Seldom and rarely, they're the same. Seldom, rarely, to me, it's just not often. I hardly remember people's facial features. So you want facial features, features relating to their face, but facial features. I often go to the library, as I can rarely find online what I need. Very nice. I usually go for a walk, a morning walk. I frequently brush my teeth. That's a good habit. I hardly go to the gym after lunch. Very nice. I frequently plan my classes for the afternoon. Very nice. I always wake up early, even if I don't have a job. Very nice. I usually go to the gym after 2200, but now I go before lunch. Wow, very nice. I spend most of the time practicing English with your videos. Well, thank you so much. Now, here's some other time references. You've seen some of these, most of these in our lesson today. As a rule, once in a blue moon, before dinner, after work. And you don't have to say after work. You could say after dinner or after my walk, after breakfast. You can change these before work, before my nap, whatever it is, in the morning, in the evening, in the afternoon. But notice at night. You can say in the evening or at night. Same thing. They mean the same in the evening, at night, but the grammar is different. And on weekends, on weekdays, it means every weekend, every weekday. Okay. Nowadays, we saw that one with Omar, but with Omar, it was these days, nowadays, same thing. And every summer, we didn't use this one, but you could say every summer, every March, every spring, every winter. You can use seasons. You could use year. You could use month. You can use a quarter, every quarter, a business quarter, for example. Once in a blue moon, we go. Okay, so you need the present simple. We go on vacation. On vacation. You go on vacation. I hardly remember people's names because there's more than one. At night, I usually learn English in your English channel. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Nowadays, we are scared about war. Yeah. Just statement of fact using the present simple for sure. Before dinner, I set up all that's in the kitchen for dinner with my friends. So maybe just before dinner, I set everything up. Or you know what I'd say? Before dinner with my friends. Before dinner with my friends, I set everything up. Or maybe before my friends arrive, I set everything up for dinner. So you can say it in different ways. I see my sisters once in a blue moon. Oh no. So you don't see them often. Nowadays, I frequently go swimming. Go swimming. You use go and then your verb of movement in the ing form. Go swimming. I watch movies on weekends. Every summer, I go on vacation. I go on vacation. That sounds awesome. As a rule, to improve your English skills, follow and subscribe to this amazing channel. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And yeah, subscribe if you haven't already. Every summer, we visit Nana's place. Isn't that awesome? I love it. As a rule, I call my mom every day. I love that because as a rule, it just makes it sound more like you're committed to this. You don't skip it. You don't miss it. It doesn't matter how many tasks are on your to-do list. You do this activity. And that's a very nice thing to do. Okay. Oh, amazing job, everyone. So many awesome sentences. Now, even though the present simple is one of the first things that students learn, I see a lot of mistakes with sentence structure, placement of adverbs, especially when verbs are in the he, she, it subjects because you need to add the S or ES. So keep practicing. What I recommend is just take a screenshot of these words and just form sentences and take a screenshot of these words and form sentences as you're doing the dishes, as you're getting ready, as you're going for a walk. Just form sentences, but change your subjects. Use he, she. Use we, use they, use different subjects, ask questions, form negatives, do different things as well. All right, everyone, that's the end of our class. And remember, I have this free speaking guide for you where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can find the link in the description, or you can go to my website and you can get this absolutely free. And also, you can join my premium training program, the Finally Fluent Academy. This is where you will become my personal student. You can get support and feedback directly from me, and you can also get access to my premium training program. And if you enjoyed this lesson, put yes, yes, yes in the comments. We already have one, and you're very welcome. Also, like this lesson is the best way that you can say thank you. So, yes, I appreciate that, but also like this lesson and subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson as well. All right, everyone, I'm so glad I had fun today. I always love discussing daily routines because it's interesting. I get to learn more about you and your routines, and it's fun to just be creative and imagine the routines of other people as well. So awesome job, everyone. A2 phrases for sure. I can do that for you. Amazing. Woohoo. Already subscribed. I'm so glad. Thank you, everyone. And enjoy the rest of your day. And as you know, as a routine, I go live every Tuesday. So make sure you subscribe so you're notified every time I go live. And I post videos regularly. So when you subscribe, YouTube will also show you the videos that I post. So I can't wait to see you in my next one. Bye.